Can you hear me? Doctor?
I can.
You can hear me? Good. So I had earlier stood over the matter so that I can evaluate the submissions and the submissions of the prosecution and the response and application by the defense, including a bail application. I will not restate the background of this case, but I must say I had evaluated the submissions of both the prosecution and the defense, and this matter was coming up for directions in light of the ruling in the revision application number 9 of 2017 that was determined and directions forwarded to this court. In the ruling of Her Lordship Elizabeth Kavanda, she ordered 1, that the Chief Magistrate Buganda Road expeditiously determines the pending application under the Mental Treatments Act, Section 2, given that the outcome of the said application is crucial in the exercise by the applicant of the constitutional right to apply to be released on bail. I have read that verbatim as picked from that ruling. The directions of the High Court here were to ensure that this court expedites the trial and the hearing of the application under the Mental Treatments Act, the outcome of which being crucial, then the accused person can exercise their right to apply for bail. Today, as I pronounce these directions, the defense, Mr. Pio Nicholas, has submitted that the defense team can adequately respond to the MTA application. The accused were allowed access to her personal files, documents, etc. That the defense cannot access the said information unless the accused was allowed such opportunity. It has applied for bail and presented 5 sureties to this court, so that if the court pleases to allow the accused bail on such terms as the court will deem fit, and accord the accused access to her personal materials, and then for them will be able to effectively reply to the MTA application. The prosecution in principle does not object, only prays that in the event that the court allows this application, while the MTA application is still pending, and caution should be taken in regard with ensuring that the accused returns and the MTA application is disposed of and the entire matter. The proposed conditions which in their view they thought would help this court in exercising a discretion, I will not have to restate them here. And I've also not had reason to restate the law on bail and the constitutional guarantees for accused persons like the applicant in this case. But I only want to thank both the prosecution and the defense for all their submissions and the law cited that I have had opportunity to once again look at and appreciate vis-a-vis the arguments of the defense team. Yes, they are good law and only a good guide to this court, where each case must be determined on its own merits. The principle here is that defense is asking for ample opportunity, adequate time, and allowing for access by accused for her materials that will inform their responses for all purposes and intents in the MTA application that the High Court ordered to be determined expeditiously. So as a submission of Ms. Opio for the defense that if accused is released on bail, she can then access her personal files, information, which will aid them in replying to this application, which the High Court ordered as above stated. This court notes that this is the same MTA that the High Court ordered to be tried expeditiously, that the defense is seeking for adequate opportunity, including the release of accused person to allow them access materials for their preparation and further instructions. It is their case that they cannot access this information to be able to respond by reason of accused being in detention. This being the case, and the prosecution not in principle objecting, I had no reason to allow this application so as to allow this opportunity to the accused person access those personal materials related to this application so as to be able to give it to the defense team. But in so doing, this court can only ensure, one, that the accused shall not abscond. That's very critical and principle in bail applications, and also two, that she will not interfere with the investigations, among others. On the above note, exercising my discretion, I proceeded to allow the accused her bail, but on the following conditions. One, the accused shall execute a bond of 10 million shillings, not cash. The sureties each, who are 5 in number, furnished before this court, shall execute a like sum of 10 million shillings, not cash, each. It was the submission of the defense for the applicant that her passport be deposited in two court, and I so order. And having allowed this bail application, I proceed to the directions of the High Court, that in the view of this court, given its peculiar circumstances, requiring that she gets access to her personal information for the defense team's purposes, I believe that fixing the 25th of May for the responses and determination of the MTA application is ample time. At 9 o'clock, I was invited to address the question of the subjudice rule. I want to point out that any person who respects the courts should be alive at this subjudice rule. and it's the duty of court officers to advise and guide clients on the import of the subjudice rule, and I shall cast this role and duty to the defense counsel and advise the press that you shall not make anything for publication of anything that shall be deemed prejudicial and contrary to the subjudice rule. You are free to report other things, but anything that will jeopardize this trial by way of your reporting, which will be contrary to the subjudice rule, I know you are aware about it. Your editors will advise you that yes, that perhaps will be subjudice, and so please respect the subjudice rule. About sureties, their passports. Yes, we have photocopies of your passports with us, and I do not wish to retain your original copies of passports, for we do not want to hamper any other lawful business that may be necessary with the use of those original documents. So they shall be returned to you. And then lastly, I will caution you to ensure that at all times when the accused person is required to appear before a court for the furtherance of the trial in both the application and the main suit, till otherwise ordered to the contrary, you ensure that the person appears. I so order.